This is the Big O Show. 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 This is...
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Miles an hour. That's a Category 4 hurricane. 3 deaths are reported in Florida after more than 24 were killed in the Caribbean. This
is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Over 2,000 Toyotas are in stock and on their way to Toyota of Hollywood. Get our lowest price on every Toyota, including Corolla, Camry, Highlander, Tacoma, and RAV4. Like a 2024 Corolla LE, $19,975. Need credit? If you earn at least $500 a week, we want to say you're approved at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Had to turn on the Eiffel Tower. Forgot. Eiffel Tower's always got to be on for the show, you know. It's just one of those things. Anyway, good morning. How are you all doing? It's a Bitcoin morning. There you go. Every day, it's a Bitcoin morning. Yes. We're at 61,000. Anyway, oh, wow. It's Friday. We got our final preseason game. And then after that, we hang on for, 2 weeks? And we wait for the start of the regular season, which, by the way, we will be at Walk-Ons for the opener. Join us at Walk-Ons. So come on out. We're going to have prizes and giveaways, all kinds of stuff. So join us there at Walk-Ons. I will not do a post-game today. There's no Tua playing or anything like that. So there's no reason for me to do a post-game show today. Okay? So don't expect me to do any post-game shows. I'm actually jacked about tomorrow's game, really, for Inter Miami. That's the real game. Tonight is nothing. Tonight is just me watching football and watching the backups. I'm just hoping that some of the young guys or something, like I don't want Storm Duck to get injured. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like what I'm going through tonight, you know? If Patrick Paul plays, I don't want him to get injured because I'm sure he'll play a little bit, you know? That's like what because we know the starters aren't going to play tonight. They're not getting why do we need to play those guys tonight? What do they gain from it? Nothing. You know, they got their practices in the week and they played last week and we're good. We're good. Let's get to week 1 and get it going and feeling good about the situation. So all of that is all good. By the way, woke up this morning with some amazing news. Amazing news. Like really amazing news. But only for a small section of us. although there's several of you in that section because of this show, you know, we have gravitated to each other here. But Sean Stanley, let's pull up the billboard there. Bitcoin now. Okay, listen to this. Okay, because what it's what people don't understand is that computing is the future. The power of computing, whether it's data, whether it's transactions, and whether it's information, all of that, computing is value. And so I forgot the name of those supercomputers that they're building now that, damn it, I'm brain farting now. But, you know, this is where we're going. This is where we're headed, because that's how the digital highway is going to expand, and the blockchain and all of that. And Bitcoin will be the general source to all of that. And so it takes energy to mine Bitcoin, right? And that's why there is value in it, because the problems you're solving in order to mine the Bitcoin are incredibly difficult problems that these computers take forever. And now look where we've hit. $72,224 to mine one Bitcoin. Right now, miners are paying more than where it's at on the market. So when we've reached this point, and this happens in these cycles, when we've reached this point where the hash rate and the computing money goes through the roof, guess what follows next? The price. So I think we're kind of finally, it's kind of like a volcano that's building up. You know, I talked about the Tua volcano yesterday. This is the same thing. This is like a Bitcoin volcano. Okay. And so that's why it's Bitcoin moves in a linear way that's completely different than anything else. And so it allows it's kind of like a coil that continues to kind of build, and then it explodes. And that's why I told you that in this bull run, we will have 2 God candles, 2 10K, at least 2 God candles or more. But I think we'll have at least 2. We've never had one, which is 10K in a day. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. We've had 7 and all that. It's going to happen. It's going to happen a couple of times now. In the next 6 to 9 months, it'll happen a couple of times where Bitcoin is going to move 10,000. Trust me on this. Okay? That's I will predict that. So $72,000. So if you had a mining machine, you would end up paying FP&L $72,224 by the time you have been able to mine a complete Bitcoin. Maybe more too. Who knows? If your mining machine is not as good, it might cost you more money. You know what I'm saying? So it just that's some impressive stuff, man. Okay? That's impressive stuff right there. So again, not a financial advisor. We went just right now from 61,000 to 61,540. So I don't know. We'll see. That just happened right this second, because when I got on, it was at 61,000. So it just popped $540 just like that. We'll see. And it's been holding at 59.60. Now it's been holding at 61. So looks like the trend is headed up. And again, not a financial advisor. You do what you want. You know what I'm saying? But right now, you're still getting a bargain with Bitcoin. You're getting it cheaper than the miners right now. And let me tell you something. Those miners, that's why they sell and they store money for energy and all that other stuff. Well, a lot of them also are using natural energy now too. I think it's like at 55% of the Bitcoin that's being mined, it's being mined with natural energy. Wind, water, volcano, whatever, all kinds of different kinds of energy, nuclear, all that kind of stuff. That's where we should be, by the way. Our country should be picking up on the nuclear side, man. It just takes a while to build up those plants, but we should have a few. A few would power our country a hell of a lot more efficient than what we're doing now. But whatever, you know. Why would we do things that would make sense? Have no idea. Anyway, so just little thought that I saw this morning, and if you're a Bitcoiner, this is something to be incredibly excited about. And if you got a couple extra bucks, buy now. Buy now. Think about it. If you just bought it at 60,900 or 61,000 just a little while ago, you're already up, you know? So, but I think we've turned that corner where, and then the Feds, today Powell will talk, and he's probably going to give some kind of inkling that he's going to cut rates. And then that's going to just juice the markets. Okay? Listen, man, I've been telling you since 16,000. So if you haven't followed me from 16,000, I don't know, but it's still not too late, is what I would tell you. David Furones and Manny Navarro will be joining us on the show today. So make sure you be prepared so we can get you ready for a little Dolphins and a little Canes. We're right around the corner. Thank God. We got Canes next. You know, that's a good thing, by the way, that we get the Canes next week in between that we have to wait another week for the Dolphins. So that's cool. I know it's the Thursday. It starts for the NFL, but for our team, the one that we love, you know, we have to wait till the following Sunday. So that's good. At least we get a little football with UM. And please don't lose. Please don't lose. Mario, don't, man, they are talking you up, dude. Talking you up. Talking up that recruiting, talking up that quarterback, talking up the talent. It's all up to Mario now, man. I need Mario to come through. Quantum computers. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you. These quantum computers that are coming are just mega freaking computers. And computing is what they're all competing with. Chips, NVIDIA. You know, this is where we're going. And that's why, you know, crypto, the blockchain, DeFi, you know, all of this it's all intertwined. I've been telling you for several years, the future of the financial market, the future financial market is being built right under your nose on the blockchain. And Larry Fink and all these people have already started moving into the neighborhood. You know, they're just moving way ahead of the auto store and the bakery and the car dealerships and, you know, and the banks and all that kind of stuff. They're just ahead of them. You know, some of us are ahead of Larry Fink and the boys, and then Larry Fink and the boys are ahead of the rest of the world. But it's just, it's kind of, this is the process. This is what I've been talking about for several years now. And it's just, now it's kind of taking shape, you know, and it's really starting now. And so that's why, you know, thank you for the quantum thing, because I was brain farting there, Caleb. I appreciate that. Remember, folks, you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can also make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, which, you know, those are my favorite donations, Bitcoin or Ethereum, and you can always make those, okay? Bitcoin's at 61,694. Could today be one of those days where we're seeing some jacked up juice? I don't know. We'll see. If the smile on my face just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, you will know. You will know. And then you're going to go, that son of a bitch was telling us about all this and the computing stuff and the expense of it. And if it's at 72 and it's just under 62, well, wait a minute. It's going to move 10,000 easily. Some people are doing the math. Oh, just saying, you got a couple of extra bucks. You can make a couple of extra bucks. So Captain Saki is number one. Steve Chapman is in the house. Please smash the hell out of the like button. Oscar Rojas, Jamie Zoria out in San Jose, Ray Sosa, Steven Gonzalez, One-Eyed Jack, Cosa Nostra. How many of us Dolphin fans will watch tonight's preseason game? And I will. I'm that loser, bro. I'm the loser that watches. I go to practices if I can see them. If I can watch all the preseason games, I'm going to watch them because I'm going to watch for Jason Maitre or the Alexander kid or whatever, man. I'm going to be watching for some of the guys that are the edge guys that are going all the way to practice. But I'm a total geek. So that's different. And I understand. Listen, man, those of you that don't want to watch the game because it's really meaningless in general, kind of, I totally understand that too. And if you want to call me a loser, totally understand that too. You want to say I have no life? Totally understand that too. I have no problem with that. I'm not really that sensitive like some folks out there. Jay Gelfin is in the house. Inter Miami tomorrow. My Yankees coming together. You know, I just found this out, Jay. By the way, Sean, when we go to Seattle, do you know who's in town? The Yankees. What do you think, Sean? Do we go to a Mariners-Yankees game? At, what is it? What is it called? I forgot the name of the park, but whatever. Apparently, it's a beautiful park. Sean, we don't have real baseball in South Florida. So we go? What do you think? Any fans out there in Seattle got some extra tickets? But that I was I was talking to my friends out in Seattle, and they're like, "No, man, the Yankees are in town that weekend." I'm like, "Really? Really? Yankees in Seattle? Damn.
Are they afternoon games?
I don't know. I haven't even look it up. Look it up for us.
I'll have to find out because we got the things right. We're doing the night.
You get there Friday, right? You're a Friday. I'm Thursday. You're Friday.
Yeah,
if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, check it out, dude. And I don't know, man. I mean, it's not like I've never even been to Seattle, period. So if we're gonna go and I'm gonna see several things. Oh, by the way, I'm also gonna see Bruce Lee's burial site. I did not know that. Bruce Lee and Jimi Hendrix are there in Seattle. So I was gonna go I knew Jimi Hendrix was there, so I was gonna go to his gravesite, pay my respects to the man. But I did not know that Bruce Lee was buried in Seattle. I may have to go. Let's see. C. Dola's in the house. I didn't know Stanford, Cal, and SMU in the ACC. Yeah, that happened a while back. Kyle says the best thing to do right now in your crypto market is nothing. Well, DCA. I DCA'd a little more today, Kyle. I bought a little bit more Bitcoin. I saw that note and I said, you know what? I got a couple extra bucks. Let me buy a little bit again. What the hell? Can't have enough Bitcoin, So I saw that and I said, yeah, let me see, just in case. If this thing is coming out now, I wonder if we're even closer to turning the corner. Jeff in Long Island is in the house. Alex Palenzuela, Ocala Joe. Yes, it does feel good to be back on the normal schedule. Yes, Sean.
Their last game there is the 19th. It's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday series.
Oh, so it's the day I arrive.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
17th, 18th, and 19th, 3-game series.
Okay. Oh, but you know why? Because 305 Sports Babe is going like on Tuesday. That's why. So because Jamie told me no, because we're going with because I'm going with Sports Babe to the game, and so that's earlier in the week. So okay. So what's after? What's Friday? What's the weekend series? Are they home or away? Maybe
I
it's
didn't go
cool.
that. I just looked up Seattle Yankees, so that was the only days for that. I didn't look to see what.
Tell me if they're home or away. What's on the weekend? Because that's actually an idea. I can Thursday, so it's probably a getaway day. It's probably a day game. Yeah, it's probably a day game. What's that Thursday game? What time is that Thursday game?
They go to Texas on the 20th. They play in Texas at 4:10. Yankees 4:10 on the 19th. Then they head to Texas.
Damn, dude. Okay. All right. Well, you can't have it all. That's all right. That's all right. No big deal. It's all right. I still get to see Paul Weller in Seattle. So I think there might be another concert that I might be able to go to. There's a couple of concerts, but I know Paul Weller is one. I already bought my ticket. I got an aisle seat and everything. I am set, dude. I can't wait to see Paul Weller. Oh, that is a super treat for me. Super, super treat for me. I get to see the Dolphins in Seattle, and then also Paul Weller. Well, that's a weekend and a half, dude. Chris Jordan is in Arizona. There you go. He has the Cardinals winning the Super Bowl. Then he's laughing. I'm not exactly sure if he's taking it serious or not. Lisa Rose is in. Gus 1388. Emilio Hernandez is in H-Town. Skylar Tipton. Ray Varnicus. Have you released your 2024 Dolphin prediction yet? 12 wins. I'm going 12 wins. 12 wins is my prediction. I don't go, though, this game will be a win or a loss. That's too hard to predict. I'm just going to go 12 wins. That's all. 12 wins. Got a really good team. It's time for the coach to step up, and please just give me some breaks and stay somewhat healthy, man. That's all I'm asking. JG Long, what's up, my brother? Out in Malaysia. Have a great weekend, my friend, and keep posting all that food. Food that I've never seen before in my life. And then I'm like, okay, I got to try that shit. Let's see. George Grass. Ray Grullon is in the house. Alex Palenzuela. Ray says, I hope everyone storm duck another gem find by Greer and the boys. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And not only that, but you have the Isaiah Johnson kid, the 6'3" kid from Syracuse. You know, Ethan Bonner is kind of growing into that position. Patrick McMorris was a draft pick last year. It's you gotta give people time to, do their thing, and then they get in their groove, and you see that. I keep telling you, this is one of the best front offices in the NFL, and they will prove it constantly. Alex says, "Oh, Bitcoin bought some more." What else? Ray says, I realized it very early, but it looks like Greer has knocked it out of the park with this year's draft class. Early returns look promising. Yes. And it looks like this draft class is becoming something. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Anthony Campos. Who is Brian Flores in your Dolphin Bible since your Dolphins priest? LOL. And Judas, Snake of Adam. I think he's the apple. I think he's the poisoned apple, is what it is. Frankie Fresco is saying, let's go Bitcoin. Adam Pinkser in the house. Headed down to Gainesville next weekend. Oh, going to be a tough game. Don't underestimate Graham Mertz. He's a highly experienced QB. Brother, I'm not overconfident in Mario Cristobal. Okay? My issue is game day Mario Cristobal. It's not Cam Ward. It's not the Florida talent. It's not Miami's talent. It's Mario Cristobal, game day coach. Not the human being, not the leader, not the recruiter, not the custodian, nothing. Everything else is perfect. So I have one issue, and I need that issue resolved. That's the only, and by the way, it happens to become now, outside of the quarterback, the most important issue of them all. Is Mario Cristobal the game day coach you need? He's perfect for everything else, but his conservative ways and questionable decisions at times, that's something that I have questioned since he was at Oregon. Like I said, since he got hired here, and I'm all for the hire. I root for Mario and all that, but I have to be objective, and I was objective even when they hired him. What he did at Oregon is not good enough here. So he's got to be even better than he was at Oregon in order to survive here. If not, you will not survive here. Let's see. Nyborg is in. Chris Jordan, I see. Big O, can Bishop Gorman High School beat Bethune-Cookman in a football game? Oh, man. I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question because it's Bishop Gorman, Uber Beaner says, I bought one share of NVIDIA at $4.20 years back. Now it turned into 40 shares on two different B stock splits over time. Yeah. And hopefully it'll grow. I think it will because they're so important to the chip game in the world. Jay Gelfin, NorCal is in the house. Baseball game. I'll bring a pillow. Isn't Kurt Cobain buried there too? I don't know. Actually, he is from there. He sadly killed himself there. I know you could go see his house there because I've seen the video of his house there in Seattle. So I know you can do that also. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I am definitely going to Jimi Hendrix gravesite. That is money in the bank for sure. I am going to that gravesite. And I'll have chills standing there thinking the God of all gods of guitars is right here. Let's see. You guys need to leave Eichenberg, a.k.a. Iceberg, alone. He's been decent offensive lineman. So what Chris, really, his problem was that he had the injuries, unfortunately, and they keep moving the man around. Okay, so now when Brewer comes back to start the season, he will go to back to his right guard position, and I hope he stays there for the rest of the year. I hope Aaron Brewer doesn't have another injury again, and he can ride out the year, and then we can see Eichenberg be at his best. Okay? To me, that's the important part. That's what would make sense, That then we can see Eichenberg at his best, but it's hard to see somebody at their best when they're constantly being moved around, It's hard. Let's see. Corey P. Jay Slim. See you at the Cove, Big O. You got it, Jay Slim. Looking forward to it, my man. Look forward to hanging out with you and everybody else. Nyborg is in. Eichenberg does nothing to make me forget about Jeff Dellenbach, much less Pouncey. Coke Garcia is out in San Diego. I hope I get to see you also in our Los Angeles trip there, Coke. Mace Taggart in. It's Ty in the Bronx. What's up, Ty? Ray says Paul Weller will be really good. His solo stuff is very underrated. Sprinkle in some style counts in the jam, maybe. He will. I looked at his set list, and obviously he does the biggest songs of Style Council. He does the biggest songs of the jam, and then he does a bunch of his solo stuff, which I love his solo stuff. And so yeah, I'm a big fan, dude. Big fan. Love Paul Weller. So can't wait to see him. Never seen him before, too. Lord, please have the Dolphins use their tight end. Oh, they will. Jay, they won't use him. They'll feature him. Okay? He's going to be a fantasy stud. So if you haven't had your fantasy draft or whatever, he's going to be the best number 2 tight end that you will, because most people may not even draft him number 1. You know, if you're smart and you get him on the back end of your first round of tight ends, because he's not going to be taken top 6. And I think he'll be a top 6 tight end. He'll be taken earlier here in South Florida, 10, 11, 12, or 8 or something, because homers will take him. But in general drafts around the country, he might be the people's backup tight end. And he's going to be starter, dude. Those days are done. They're going to throw more to the running backs. The tight end will be featured. Okay? You heard Tua talking about, we were all trying to get Tyreek to 2,000 yards. And by the way, I don't know, but there was somebody that kept saying that was some stupid shit, focusing on 2,000 yards. It's about spreading the ball around. I don't know. Somebody kept saying it all last year. I don't know. I don't know. And then this offseason, didn't I say, hey, enough of this bullshit. You got to spread the ball around. And they got to the coach, and the coach finally learned. And I'm sure the general manager told him, yo, dude, I spent $10 million 2 years ago on a guy, and you didn't even attempt to use him. You didn't even try to work him in there. So if I'm going to go get another tight end, you're going to use him, right? Okay, so who do you like? And I'm sure he must have liked Jonnu. And then, okay, great. And then he went and got Jonnu. Jonnu will be featured, not just used, featured. Okay? Handoffs, screens, all kinds of routes in the route tree, from deep down the sidelines to work in the middle of the field to crossers. You're going to see everything with that guy. Everything. Let's see. John Wayne says, Big O Dolphins season ticket holder for a great season. I like the new defensive look. Will be a top 10 D. I hope so. I really love what I'm seeing from Weaver. So I agree with you. I like what I see also. But what's it called? This is definitely going to be an interesting season to see how all of this develops. I'm with you there. Drago, good morning. Cristobal needs to have his leave his offensive coordinator alone. If he doesn't, he's got the wrong OC. Or he's got the right OC, but he's just weighing him down. That could be the problem too. Thank Blue Dodgers. Let's go checking in late, but smashing the hell out of the like button. Thank you. Smash it, smash it, smash it. Cash the Jeweler, welcome aboard. HN Jonnu, automatic pickups to my fantasy. Yes, definitely. Well, HN is, I'm sure everybody's picking up HN. Be surprised if Jonnu Smith gets the first touchdown of the season. I wouldn't either. Yeah, I could see that. All right, let's talk a little more football with the one and only David Furones and our Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report.
All rise, football fans, as the Welton Rayon Miami Dolphins report with David Veronis is in session.
Welton Rayon has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Veronis.
All right. Answer this question, young man, as people are concerned. They're worried.
Oh, someone else on the show? I'm the young man. Oh.
You certainly are compared to me. That's for damn.
Thank you.
Anyway, everybody keeps asking, so what? We got Jonnu Smith. Will he even use him? And I think he won't be used. I think he will be featured. But what say you, David Veronis? What is the verdict?
Yeah. Now, when you say featured, you mean targets ranging in what? How many touches?
I mean, he's the number 3 wide receiver on the team. How do you like them apples?
He's yeah. All right. Number 3 is tops of what? Yeah,
catches, everything.
Yeah.
I love how people. It'll be Odell. It'll be Malik. It'll be Craycraft. No, bro. You're all missing the boat here. It's gonna be fucking Jonnu Smith, bro. He's gonna be running the ball. He's gonna be catching screens. He's gonna be going deep. He's gonna be running crossers. He's going to be featured. Obviously, not Tyreek Waddle feature. Not maybe the running game 25, 30 carries for 3 guys feature, but I'm talking about like when you talk about Tyreek and Waddle, and then you say who's next featured, that's him. It's him. Something you didn't see, in other words, the last couple of years. The tight end wasn't even in the top freaking 7 of the receivers, okay? Now he will be number 3. So that's featured in my eyes. What's the verdict for you?
I got to say, there's a pretty good chance that Jonnu would get number 3 most targets. I mean, obviously Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, but then after that, and maybe a lot of people going into this season, like last offseason, as Odell came in, would have thought Odell would be the clear number 3, but I think and although, yeah, he should be fine for the season, we believe, even though he spent training camp entirely on PUP, but and he'll get incorporated eventually. But I think just Jonnu has a big head start as one of the newcomers in this offense in comparison. So I would put him. Yeah, I think there's a good chance. And sure, there's going to be a lot of times where he's not on the field for the run plays because you don't want to put him in those situations where he's the blocker instead of Durham Smythe or Julian Hill, who are much stronger in that aspect of their game. Yeah, and I know you're a big Julian Hill guy, as am I, as many people should be.
Well, it's see, the thing what I like about Julian Hill over Smythe is he can block. Okay, and let me tell you something about Smythe. Smythe's a good blocker, not a great blocker, good blocker. Because I've seen him mess up a couple blocks too here and there.
Yeah.
Drew's got a nasty streak to him, but at the same time, he can sell pass better than Smythe. No defense fears Durham Smythe, whereas Julian Hill, at the moment, they don't know him, but we've watched him. This kid's got ability, and if you screw around, he'll get behind you, and all of a sudden, Tua's going to find him, and you're going to get a big play. So for me, that's why I like Julian Hill, because I think the upside of selling the pass and the run are much better. That's why.
I will say Durham Smythe in the pass game is still pretty good in the short area part of his game. I think the short routes underneath.
That's what I call him. He's a serviceable player.
Sure. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That we know, but I mean, yeah, John, as far as get 3rd in targets, I could totally see that. I think Devon Achane will get a lot more incorporated into the pass game too, but then even he is going to be splitting a lot of reps in that backfield, and sometimes he might get sent out wide, and there's a variety of ways that they could use him as well. But Jonnu Smith kind of feels like he is that new toy for Mike McDaniel to just get to play with, and we've seen him experiment with him. He even showed it in a preseason game, which we would see some of that stuff in training camp and wondered if we would actually get to see it shown for everyone to just see in a game-like setting in that preseason exhibition. But sure enough, yeah, he did in that first drive. So nice to see it work also the one time we've seen it in a game setting as well.
So now looking back at what you saw on Tampa in the practice, give us something that stood out to you.
Let's see. All right. So I mostly watched the offense. So, the two different fields, especially there, you can't get like a good vantage point. Like we do on screens.
I heard it's not the best situation for visual, for being able to see everything. Is that true?
At least we like the Sun Sentinel, we had two guys. So I mean, I had Perk with me, and so he was watching. Since I was going to write the backup quarterbacks, and I was watching the offense, which I saw more of Tua, and then kind of Mike White and Skylar Thompson split the backup reps a little bit. So it was kind of like Tua got about half, and then Mike White and Skylar Thompson split the other half. So, Perk was watching the defense mostly. Then when they both kind of converged and were working on the same field, got to see both. I thought in Wednesday's joint practice, both Braxton Berrios and Eric Ezukanma had very good days of drills. Multiple catches for each, downfield, different parts of the field, working different types of routes. There was one time where I could hear Mike McDaniel. He was watching that side of the field, and he was pretty far, like deep downfield, and in a situational setting. I think like kind of like third down. Berrios runs a very sharp out, like just runs it to perfection, creates separation, and the ball's delivered there perfectly. Taps his toes, everything is just like on point. And Mike McDaniel from way out there, he was like, "Brax." He couldn't get his attention yet, and then he goes, "Fuck yeah!" So it was just super cool to hear that. So after a couple of weeks, and we had talked about on this show where Berrios was maybe a little bit stocked down. I mean, there was that touchdown catch opportunity that he had that either it might have been deflected. I think like the defender got a little fingertip on it to alter its trajectory a little bit, making it a tougher catch. But there was a similar play like that in the joint practice where it was kind of close. Did the defender get a hand on it right before it got to Berrios? It was a throw a little bit behind from Tua, where Berrios had a step crossing over the middle, but it got closer because of the throw was a little behind. But still, a lot of plays made by both of those guys. So the two guys that we were kind of debating if River Craycraft was healthy, one of them might have to go as far as if you have a top six. But right now with the River hurt, then it seems like both are well on their way to a roster spot. And then when I saw both teams go for 2-point conversions late, so the Dolphins' first team, they got a Devon Achane 2-point conversion, a successful try, little screen, great blocking on the left side to get him through untouched. But then Calais Campbell, he had, a nasty bat down where it was just like you heard a boom when he got his big paw up on a Baker Mayfield throw over the middle, and he just sent that shit like several yards behind him the way he batted that ball. It was incredible.
All right, so let's I think we haven't talked about this. The Tua comments and then the reaction from Flo after that. I think we haven't had you completely after that because we talked on Tuesday.
Right.
Your thoughts on Tua's comments, but then Flo pretty much like admitting that, yeah, he did not deny anything, which is pretty brutal that you were basically trying to sabotage somebody's career.
Yeah.
And from what I know, okay, there was a major disagreement in the draft room for Tua. And the guys wanted him, but Flo didn't. And so from that moment, he held a grudge. And then he basically tried to take it out on Tua for a couple of years because he didn't get what he wanted, overall. So I'm just wondering, his reaction, Tua talking about it, your thoughts on all of that.
And what did Tua ever do to you to deserve that from you, right? Like, okay, you had a disagreement in the draft room, but I mean, he's a good kid. He didn't do anything to deserve that. Have it taken out on him at the end of the day. But I think for Flores,
by the way, that's why I had a problem with what Perk said, that he maximized the roster. That word maximize, when you're not playing the best QB, you didn't maximize. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of the way it is. If you're Mike McDaniel and you don't stick to the run when it's working, you're not maximizing it. If you're Vic Fangio and you need to blitz Will Levis and Lamar Jackson because that's what it calls for at that moment, and you refuse, you're not maximizing. You're not using Jalen Ramsey the right way. So, if Flo chose to go with other quarterbacks over Tua, then you didn't maximize. That was my point to Perk when he said that, and I was like, that just doesn't jive. If you're going to maximize, you play the best players. And in that Ravens game, he proved that he didn't know what the fuck he was doing, because he sent this guy home all week. Right. He barely practiced. He was playing golf. And then on game day, Jabroni gets injured and he comes in and he finally, that was the moment that it all crystallized for Flo and said, wow, I'm the idiot here that keeps thinking this guy's not the best quarterback I have. And so, that's where I had beef with our boy Perk on the maximizing thing. No, dude, no.
Yeah, I remember that.
I've seen Eric Spoelstra maximize his roster all the time.
Oh yeah.
Flo did not. Flo did well. He could have done even better.
Yeah, I remember. I remember that game. The whole thing was his injured finger that he sat out the previous week against Houston, which was just such awful quarterback play between Jacoby Brissett and who was starting for the Texans.
On this show, it's Jabroni Brisket.
Yeah. I gotta respect it. and then when Tua came in, and the whole question was, oh well, he can't throw the ball downfield with his finger injury, and then he hit a 30-something yard sideline pass, and Waddle. It was like, to Waddle, right? And I remember asking Flores in that post-game press conference. By
the way, it was a knuckle and a rib he had.
Yeah, he had the ribs from early in the season that then he had to play through later. Yeah,
he had to throw a deep ball, and it was a floater. It was a total floater. I know that.
Sure,
but it got there. It was and it was like 40 yards.
It got there. Yeah,
it was like 40 yards. Okay, by the way, and it was with a messed up knuckle and a messed up rib. I mean, brother, if you don't respect this kid, I can't help you, dude. I can't help you. I really can't help you. He does whatever it takes, dude. Whatever it takes.
Now, from Flo's standpoint and his reaction, then I think, he stood no benefit to still sticking to his guns and countering, saying that it's totally different, because it's sort of like a big brother, little brother, like when the big brother's picking on the little brother, and then the little brother complains, and the parents show up. And then they try to say, no, I didn't do anything to him. And the parents are like, what, you're calling him a liar? He has no reason to lie. They believe the little brother who's getting picked on, because he's not just going to say he was getting picked on for no reason. There must have been something that agitated him to go ahead and say something.
I mean,
in this case,
Tua has no bullshit in him, bro.
Exactly. So obviously, I mean, he's not just going to say that about Flo because he's the one with a vengeance over him. Truly, he must have experienced this. He has no reason to lie, even now, a couple of years down the road. I think a lot of people also wonder about the timing now. I mean, he was just asked that by Levitard as the last question in a long interview, and I think Tua just he went and spoke truly what he felt. And I think the question it invoked sort of those emotions coming back out of him, even if we're a couple years removed. And he went ahead and said it, and he said it with a little bit more something to him then because he said it before, we've heard it in those press conferences, but he wouldn't want to like go too far into it. This time it kind of got him where he was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to let it be known a little bit. He said terrible.
I think that's leadership. Believe it or not, I think that's leadership. Some people, oh no, you're writing out the coach. No, dude, no. Bad people need to get exposed because what he went through, and others, by the way, because he's not the only one. Okay, he's not the only one. I don't know if Mike Gesicki will ever talk about it, but he wasn't very nice to Mike Gesicki either. Okay, so I don't know if Mike will ever come forward and talk about it or whatever. He was a jerk to several people, but obviously with Tua, because he had a disagreement with the three guys in the front office, and he didn't want Tua and they wanted Tua, right there he took it out on Tua right from the get-go. But the thing with Tua is he's got impeccable character. So he's not going to say it if it didn't really happen.
Right.
And he's going to say it because he also wants to make sure now that he's comfortable, now that he is the leader of the team and he's paid and trusted by the franchise and all that, he wants to step forward and be a leader and call out flow at the same time so other players don't have to go through what he went through. So the next time Flo tries to pull that shit, which I doubt he will, that the players are going to know about this and they're going to know about Tua, and they're going to they'll call him out right away for bullshit like that. So this is why he said, I have to, be better and all that other crap that he talked about. He never apologized, by the way. He never apologized at all. At any point did he ever show any kind of real remorse towards Tua. And by the way, if he ever really gave a shit, he would have reached out to Tua a long time ago. But he's got a lawsuit going on, and he uses race, not this. So he can't apologize that he is incompetent. He can't apologize that he did mistreat people. He can't apologize that the front office had reasons to fire him and why he was a detriment to the team, in other ways. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. You know what I mean? And for his case, it would have been better for him to negate it all and say, no, he's lying. I never did that. But he knows he can't, because if he does, then other players come forward and back Tua up, and then it really looks bad. So he kind of laid on the sword at the moment. But there's a lot of things on the periphery that are affecting what was going on. Yeah,
definitely. There's so much more to this because of what you just mentioned, the lawsuit there. And I think a lot of players, maybe not. I think several players. Mm-hmm.
But he says it's not incompetence, but they fired him for incompetence.
Yeah.
What Tua's talking about is incompetence.
Yeah, because he wasn't fired for his record as Dolphins coach.
No.
I mean, in fact, the first year he won too much because the team was trying to tank, and he won 5 games.
He was fired for being an asshole.
Oh yeah, right.
Real simple. He was an asshole dude. They gave you a guaranteed 5-year contract. Play Josh Rosen, lose games. We're all good. You refuse to do that. Okay, we want Tua. You refuse to do that. Wow. Okay, I want Jordan Love. Okay, the owner now gets talked into by the other owner. Hey, we could go get Brady and Peyton. You refuse to do that. Like, dude, you're a first-class dick. You're like the worst freaking employee anyone could ever hire. And then, oh no, by the way, the best part is that people don't talk about it. I know about it, but people don't talk about it. He then goes to the owner to then try to circumvent the 3 personnel guys so he can get personnel power.
Yeah.
So the 3 guys that brought you in and hired you, you now are out there with knives backstabbing them. I mean, this guy is the worst. The worst. Okay? Can he coach? Yeah, he can coach some defense. Of course he can coach some defense. He can't build an offense. He can't build an offensive staff. He can't identify quarterbacks. You know what I mean? But whatever, And he holds grudges, which
Certainly.
Bro, Spo hated Whiteside, and he had to coach him.
Yeah. No, I mean,
that was all Riley that wanted Whiteside because he has that whole love affair with the big man and all that. Yeah, it just
as the league is changing. Yeah,
that man was fired for incompetence, for being a terrible employee that fought everything that went on in that place, and so he can't give in to all of this because this actually ruins his entire lawsuit.
Right. There's too many other things surrounding him because and you got to give Flo credit for the record that he had, of course. I mean, that 2020 team to go 10-6, and sure, the schedule worked out really nicely and everything, but and then
can I break something down? Because I broke it down. You probably didn't hear it on the show.
All right, good.
You know what the real secret weapon is? Greer, Allen, and McKenzie. They're going to give you talent that automatically can win 9 or 10 games. Just ask Flo. Just ask McDaniel.
Now, the talent is much greater now. This is unquestionable. The talent is much greater now than what Flo
had its strengths. It still had its strengths anyways. Every
the defense for sure for what he wanted to run. Yeah. Now he couldn't. What you just said, he couldn't run an offense. He couldn't build an offensive staff. It wasn't going to be sustainable. He wasn't going to be winning 10 games every year, and he would have totally Tyreek Hill would never go into this offense.
Joe Philbin won 9 or 10 games. The league is made for you to win 8 games.
Yeah. It's about taking the next step.
If you do half decent coaching, you might win 9 or 10. If you're special, you start winning 11 or 12 and 13, and you start going deep into the playoffs.
That was totally the ceiling. He hit the ceiling for sure.
Right.
What he could accomplish.
What he could accomplish.
He wasn't going to go to the next step. There was no way.
A little more if he would have played the right quarterback. If he would have started with,
he would have never hit that. Yeah.
If he would have started with Fitzpatrick just the first couple of games, right? Get through the Rams. You're really trying to sabotage somebody when you're playing them against the Rams. Like seriously, dude. Like the guys.
The first game.
Yeah, 9 months removed from a hip surgery. Hey, let's start you off against Michael Brockers and Aaron. Come on, kid, let's go. That'll be that's a son of a bitch right there. So what I would have done is I would have started.
He still won.
I know, but I would have started Fitz for a couple of games and then go Tua and ride it out from there on out and let him learn and support him instead of doing what he did constantly, berate him, pull him, all that kind of stuff. Like rookies aren't going to make mistakes, and he still won more than he lost. He still threw more touchdowns than interceptions in the worst environment possible.
Yeah, that environment. And I'll tell you that 2021 season, he had that 7-game losing streak. He was certainly gone at that point because there was that famous Buffalo Halloween game where
I already knew he was gone.
Yeah, exactly. It was like 90 minutes before he ever came out for his media session. And teams when they're on the road after the game, they're trying to just get the fuck out of there. It's not like they're hanging around. It's not like a home game. So like it was really like 90 minutes from the end of the game before we got to see Flores. I remember I drafted up a tweet like thinking someone from Dolphins personnel was going to come out and say actually Brian Flores' post-game news conference has been canceled because he actually was just fired. So I drafted a tweet just to be ready in case that scenario occurred. And it didn't that day, but that he was in there just really, I guess, lamenting, just soaking in whatever was communicated behind closed doors in that road locker room or in some private corner room of the road facilities that they get at a Highmark Stadium over there.
They had enough of him already at that point.
Yeah.
They had enough of him already at that point. At that point, they were done with him. It was just a matter of finishing out the season. And remember the 7-game losing streak, those were all the tough teams on the schedule. They won the games in the back end against all the weak opponents.
Even then, they lost to the Jaguars in London. Urban Meyer, that was like his one win as coach of the Jaguars. And by the way, on defense, giving up
lose to stanky fingers. You know what it is to lose to stanky fingers? I mean,
and at home against Atlanta, when they didn't take the post-London bye coming back. So they had a home game against Atlanta and lost on a Younghoe Koo kick, which, by the way, Tua threw 4 touchdowns in that game, and they still lost. So it was Brian Flores' defense giving up all this to Kyle Pitts and them against Atlanta and the late drive, and then allowing the Jaguars with 4 seconds left, 1 timeout, the one play that could get them into field goal range to kick the game-winning field goal was a quick seam route up the middle to get the necessary yardage for a long field goal. They gave up the only thing they could, because even a sideline play would have taken too long. So they prioritized playing the sideline. I remember this vividly. Instead of the middle of the field, which actually with the timeout left, middle of the field quick timeout, that was the only way Jacksonville could get into field goal range to win it, and that's exactly what they allowed to occur. So
yeah.
So even those 2 weak opponents in that stretch still lost those games.
Yeah. It's to me, it was just a guy that he got fired for the right reasons. You know what I mean? And is he maybe a coordinator in this league? Sure. I don't think he'll ever get a head coaching job. I really don't. I think the league is doing what they've done now to kind of take the high road out of all of this in the lawsuit. Like, no, what are you talking about, bro? We still hired you. And all this stuff now will come out. I wonder if
and he's got a coordinator job. And yeah.
I wonder if Tua will be called in to testify.
There's something.
Well, you just talked about how he treated you. Well, then this helps our case that we fired him because he was a person that wasn't treating people the right way, which he wasn't, by the way, behind the scenes and in that building, you know. So the word I used was he was running roughshod through the building. That's the word I use constantly. So that'll be interesting if Tua actually gets brought into this lawsuit by the NFL.
Here's the other thing I remember was Brian Flores saying on the I Am Athlete podcast, that famous interview he did, say, ask Tua. Well, Tua was asked. And he was asked shortly after that moment, and then also now he spoke a little bit more to it this time that he was asked. And this is 2 years removed, so you can tell those feelings still linger very much.
I'm with you there. All right. What are you looking for tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I just the end of the roster sort of battles for those last roster spots. I want to see who makes a lasting impression among several groups, like those DBs. I think we know what will happen at wide receiver now at this point. Between those offensive linemen, just trying to solidify the starting guard spots, who really works well in that setting to solidify themselves there. Defensive line and in the front seven. So all those areas, who's going to take those last spots? Maybe a special teams play is what clinches it for somebody just impressing Danny Crossman on that unit. And we know those end of the roster guys, they need to be able to contribute on special teams. So maybe who stands out in that area of the game just to seal those last spots. And, of course, the backup quarterbacks, which one has a better game. And then if it's also the same thing, Skylar Thompson getting in first ahead of Mike White, and then what that means for both of them in their quest for QB2. Yeah,
no, I'm with you there, man. All right, so we'll see if and for me, it's kind of like hopefully Storm Duck or somebody like that doesn't get injured, because you're not going to see any of the frontline guys.
Yeah.
Mike
said we'll see some starters, but I think like many of them that have their spots solidified won't. I think he might be talking more about like those O linemen that are trying to get those guard spots. I think those might be the starters that we do see. But aside from that, I don't think. Yeah, I think you want to keep a lot of your top guys out of harm's way and just get through this last preseason game.
Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _. Catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, enjoy the football. Enjoy the weekend. Hey, by the way, did you go to Burns Steakhouse?
No, I haven't had a chance to go to Burns. I had a dinner with my cousin. It was much more chill last night, and then also Wednesday night we had a beautiful dinner with Dolphins communication staff at a very fine restaurant in its own right, the Pearl in Tampa downtown, which I think is like a newer place, Like
Ybor
people I know
City?
from around here have heard about it, but
Ybor City, is that where you guys went?
No, it was like downtown Tampa. But very nice, like 3-course meal. Oh, the desserts they brought out at the end.
You will regret not going to Burns, young man.
I got to get to Burns one, and then tonight, obviously, I'm at the game, so it's kind of like And Tuesday, I just driven in, tired, and was just trying to get some Chipotle before bed. But one day I got to get to Burns.
Chipotle Burns.
Well, understand, I'm trying to just get a quick meal and get to my hotel room.
I got you.
I had a long day that day. I was on with you before I drove out there. I was in Miami Gardens covering a practice. Drove out there. Man, I just wanted some Chipotle and to hit my hotel room.
All right, what steak did I tell you to get?
Ooh,
a house.
Huh?
A house.
No, you said something else.
Well, it's like a house. It's like a place to stay.
Ooh, all right, tell me again, because if I see the words on the menu, I know I'll remember.
Monty Python movie called The Life of. You're probably too young for that reference. Brian.
Oh, that's why I was gonna be at Brian, but Brion.
Brian, it's called what?
But Brion, right?
Right, and
that was the second word.
And then the second word, the home. It's a you stay at a chateau.
Chateaubriand. There we go. Also, I know I could always just reach out to you when I forget again.
We got Manny is doing Chateaubriand. He's testing it. All right. Get the hell out of here. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy football. We'll catch up on Tuesday, my brother. Thank you.
Sure. Sounds good. On cut day.
All right. Don't forget Welton Rayom, man. Jeff Welt, Daniel Rayom. By the way, that was a nice spot with Jeff there. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage. These guys are bulldogs. They are the left and right tackle that you're looking for. And you don't want to call the insurance companies because they send their adjusters and they're working for them, not for you. Welton Rayom has their own adjusters. So you have any property damage to your home, your business, you call Welton Rayom. They send their adjusters and they take on the insurance company. You don't have to deal with it. 954-966-4646. Hour number 2 and Manny Navarro next.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Over 2,000 Toyotas are in stock and on their way to Toyota of Hollywood. Get our lowest price on every Toyota, including Corolla, Camry, Highlander, Tacoma, and RAV4. Like a 2024 Corolla LE, $19,975. Need credit? If you earn at least $500 a week, we want to say you're approved at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
If you're a Miami sports fan, there's only one store to go to, and that's Canes Wear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Canes Wear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro. Exclusively on a Big O radio show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All right. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
Feeling good. Oh, you were killing my boy Ferronis there for a while, man. He's my pickleball partner. He couldn't get Chateaubriand out of his mouth.
I know. Well, he didn't even know about the damn steak anyway. So because he was
Yes.
going up to Tampa, he's never been to Burns. So I go, gotta go to Burns.
Absolutely.
I know. And then I told them the best steak in the cow is the Chateaubriand, which is the finest part of the fillet. It's juiciest, most tender part.
Absolutely.
And he had tried escargot recently, and I said, bro, the escargot there is also off the chain too. You can try it. So that's why. But he's been there a couple days, did not go to Burns, dropped the ball.
Very, very disappointed in him. I'm gonna have to give him crap now, brother, for sure.
Yeah. That's
my favorite place in Tampa. I went there so many times with Susan Miller-Dagnan. Whenever the Canes were playing USF, we made it like a tradition. You have to go.
Yeah, every time I go to Tampa, I stop at Burns.
And people don't know about the dessert room, like that whole dessert room thing. Oh, dude.
God, it's like a Yellow Pages. Your menu, like items on it. I've never seen that. And then the booths, depending on what kind of big your group is or small, and they can accommodate you either way and make it nice and it's pretty cool, quiet, and you have your own radio and everything, and it's pretty cool. It's an experience, and when you tour the kitchen and the wine cellar and all that kind of stuff. So I told him about that because, but unfortunately he has dropped. He Sammy Smithed it and dropped the ball. Unfortunately,
He's too young. I'm gonna have to take him to Tampa one time and take him there myself.
By the way, I can't do the Sammy Smith anymore. That's like that reference is too old. Who's the latest fumbler that is as notorious? I mean, Sammy Smith fumbled twice into an end zone. It's hard to beat that. You know what I mean? Like that is.
Yeah, I can't think of one right off the top of my head, man. In terms of NFL guys, I'm trying to think of who's had any notorious fumbles like that.
This is why doing radio for 34 years now. Some of your references they get old, but you want them more. Like I can go from Spicoli to Snoop to Wiz Khalifa when I'm talking about a stoner, and I can use the Wiz Khalifa reference like I could use Spicoli back in the day.
Right.
But they all don't get updated. And see, this is one of them. We don't have a local fumbler to be updating over Sammy Smith, man.
Nobody like that. Not to that degree, for sure.
So this is my dilemma when I do talk shows. Right? That it's like some of my references might be a little dated, but it's because I can't find a fresh reference for it.
It's true.
It's rough. It's rough. All right. So what are you saying about FSU and G Tech? By the way, the last time we talked about it, remember I told you, I said, I might take G Tech. It was plus 11.5.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone down a whole point. Right now, FSU's up only 10.5. So I'm already up a point there from I got a bargain the other day when I took it at 11.
You did. I got FSU winning by 10.
I don't know if I'm going to win or anything, but it's the first game. So what are you thinking about?
I got FSU winning by 10. I had to do predictions for this week for the Athletic, and I think it'll be a game in the fourth quarter because Georgia Tech has the offense. They've got some playmakers on that side of the ball. They got a 1,000-yard running back. Their quarterback is probably just outside of the top 5 in the ACC, in my opinion. Their issue is defense and stopping the run in particular. And Florida State, I think they're going to be a really, really good running team. But, Brent Key is slowly but surely trying to upgrade that side of the ball. And first game overseas in a place like Ireland, I just think there's going to be a little bit of a struggle for Florida State's offense with all those new playmakers to get rolling. So I think they'll win.
Have any Irishmen on the Seminoles? Because then they might get drunk and then not be able to participate in the game.
Yeah, it's it's funny because I saw a clip this morning when I got up of a bunch of FSU players doing the Irish jig and dancing in the streets there in Ireland. So I don't know that they have any real Irishmen on the team, but they certainly have some guys that can do the jig. That's for sure.
Okay, all right. Were they wearing skirts? And
no skirts, but they were
bagpipes.
None of those bagpipes, none of that stuff. But it was entertaining. It looked pretty good. They did a pretty good job. It's on the internet. You can find it.
Okay. All right. Canes wise, what's the latest news wise this week? Anything to be concerned about for next week, injury wise or anything?
No, I don't think there's any serious injuries with the team. I think that this is a relatively healthy team. I mean, you're always going to have bumps and bruises and guys dealing with stuff through camp, scrimmages, etc. But nothing that requires surgery that I know of in terms of missing any major time. There may be a guy or two who you look at yourself on August 31st during the middle of the game and say, where's this guy at? Well, maybe he's suspended for the opener, right? Mario who knows what kind of off-season penalties and whatnot will come down. But in terms of injuries, I don't think there's anything serious with the team.
Okay. All right. Good stuff there. What else are you working on in the Athletic, Canes-wise, so folks can check you out?
Yeah, we just came out with our top 100 list for transfers. Bruce Feldman, Sam Kahn, and I, and we've got 4 Canes in the top 50 among the transfers. And this is all based on talking to more than 100 people across college football on staffs, coaches.
I can't imagine Cam Ward was on that list.
He might be top 10. I'm not going to give anything away, but he might be top 5 even. Might be top 5 among who we rank there. Guys that'll have the biggest impacts this season. So, yeah, I mean, I think without question, man, I think he's a Heisman dark horse. I wouldn't say he's a Heisman favorite. I think the quarterback at Georgia, I think the quarterback at Oregon, certainly Ohio State has some guys that are going to get a lot of love because those are going to be the best teams, right? We're expecting them to be the top 3 or 4 teams in the country. But if Miami is a top 10 team and Cam Ward is having a great season, maybe he's got a chance to get to the Heisman ceremony. We'll see.
Are we putting too much hype and too much expectations on the kid? I kind of feel bad for him, in that sense that, man, we have, or not me, but people are, it's almost like they're expecting him to be the Messiah.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a lot of pressure on him to deliver, but I'll say this, there were a lot of teams that wanted Cam Ward. Florida State, for instance, he was their number 1 choice. Ohio State definitely was interested in Cam Ward. To me, I think he was probably the second most sought after quarterback to enter the portal, if not number 1 nationally when he decided to enter. The issue with him was ultimately, is he going to go pro? And the fact that he decided to come back to school, it was sort of fortunate for Miami because Florida State didn't want to wait around. They didn't want to risk waiting for letting DJ Ungulate potentially go somewhere else. And then once Cam decided, hey, I'm going pro, he announced that, everybody sort of moved on, which opened the door for Miami to kind of come in the back door and win the bidding war for him. So, but yes, there's a lot of pressure on him to deliver. Do I think he's capable? Absolutely. I think you look at his film and you say, man, he was playing on a 5-7 team where he led the team in rushing touchdowns and rushing attempts, threw for, well over 3,000 yards. Didn't really have, he had a couple good receivers, but nothing great. He's got much more around him now. He's a year older. He's hungry because he wants to prove to NFL scouts that he's a first-round pick. I think everything is set up for him to have a big year.
Let's hope so, man. Let's hope so. Let's hope because man, we have put him on this pedestal of expectations. And
what comes with it now, but this is what's going to be every year. It's going to be every year like this for guys that transfer.
But it's not about him. It's about the entire fan base and everybody waiting for the entire program to get out of the 20-plus year funk that it's been.
For sure.
And so we're putting it all on him. And that's just not fair, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, oh, yeah, he's the guy that's going to carry us out of the abyss and into the promised land. And that's just not fair, dude. And that's why I just kind of I feel for the kid in that sense. I understand what he has to do and all that. It's just, man, there's a lot of hype around him, a lot.
There is. But I will say he does have a good supporting cast around him, right? Like Damian Martinez was another huge pickup for them. They got a bunch of guys on defense. So it's not just like, hey, he's the one guy that they've got. In the end, he's the quarterback, and he's always going to face that. Every quarterback is going to face that pressure, right? If the team sucks or they lose games that they shouldn't, people are going to always blame it on the quarterback and the coach. That's just the way football works. But at least here, I think he's got a much better supporting cast. I'm willing to bet DJ Uiagalelei at Florida State wishes he could trade wide receivers with Cam Ward. Hell, he probably wishes he could trade running backs to get Damian Martinez, who's a proven 1,000-yard back. So I don't feel that bad for Cam Ward. And he's making a lot of money. And that's the other aspect of this, Before, we used to be able to say things like, well, what is that? That kid's not making any real money, right? At least at Miami, you could say that. Maybe not at other SEC schools, but like you couldn't really. Now these guys are all highly paid, right? So do we sit here and just say, oh, he's a kid, he shouldn't be having to do it? No, he's making a lot of money. He made the conscious decision to come to Miami. Put him under the pressure. You got to deliver.
I'm with you there. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. And of course, Caneswear. Brett and the people at Caneswear are just absolutely amazing. It is heaven for us sports fans. Anything and everything pretty much with a Canes logo on it. Amen. Tomorrow, Inter Miami is in action. You can get Inter Miami hats, shirts, jerseys, kits, that is, messy shirts, all kinds of stuff. Use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off. You can get Dolphins, Marlins, Panthers, World Championship gear. They've got it, man. The shirts, the hats. I bought a beautiful hat. I got it in the other room. I can't show it to you, but it is awesome. They got all kinds of great stuff. They got flags for your cars. They've got neon signs for your bar at home, all kinds of stuff, man. Go check it out online. If you order over $99, you'll get free shipping, and use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off. And if you go personally, use our code BIG010. They're at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. Go say hi to Brett and Jeff and John and all the great people out there at Caneswear.com.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at Caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
We step into the world of big dreams, big moves, and big money. It's the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. After 40 years, the Big Cheese remains dedicated to serving the finest Italian dinners, pizza, pasta, subs, and salads. All of their pasta is imported from Italy and cooked fresh every day. Visit BigCheeseMiami.com. Now, let's find out who's the Big Cheese the Miami Hurricanes are working on with insider Manny Navarro.
All right. The Big Cheese, baby. You got to work on that Big Cheese, the Big Cheese Supreme, the Meat Lovers Pizza, which is absolutely amazing. Those garlic rolls, the fried calamari. I mean, there's so many things. The Italian poppers. Their menu is absolutely awesome. The service is second to none. 40 years. When you've been around 40 years, you got to be doing something right. So go say hi to my guys, Gary and Billy and all the great people out there at the Big Cheese. All right, Manny, let's get into the Big Cheese report. Talk to me a little bit about Bryce Fitzgerald.
Really surprised that Miami ended up getting Bryce Fitzgerald. And I know he's a Miami Columbus guy, 4-star recruit, ranked number 130 in the 247 composite, I think the 12th best safety in the country. But surprised because when I talked to Bryce about, 3 weeks ago at a local media day event, he told me the two schools that were leading for him were Florida State and LSU, that he was going to go to pick one of those two schools. And I was very surprised when he picked Miami last weekend. Maybe not drop dead surprised because he does go to Columbus and we know how Mario Cristobal has connections there. But when the kid tells you, hey, it's really these two schools that I like the most, and then all of a sudden Miami ends up winning, it tells me something must have happened, right? Something must have changed his mind in the last, a week or so before he made that decision. And ultimately he picks the Canes. Now, look, we know recruiting is far from over. We know that until they sign on the dotted line in December, it's meaningless. But it was a big victory for Miami to get that kid to stay home. He is a big-time playmaker. 10 interceptions last season. Ball hawk. Reminds me a lot of Cam Kitchens in terms of just cerebral nature, playmaking nature, being able to read quarterbacks, step up in front of passes, pick them off, make big plays. And, if you look at Miami's, 5 best recruits in this class, 3 of them are in the secondary. Hilton Stubbs from Jacksonville Mandarin, Jabari Antoine, the cornerback. Both of those guys are top 100 recruits. And then Bryce Fitzgerald's technically the 4th best one according to the rankings at safety. So they've loaded up in the defensive backfield in this class. They've got a lot of good players, 6 overall. I thought it was really important for Mario and those guys to address that position in this class, and they have.
All right. Good stuff there. Also, the other big cheese. Talk to me about the Canes connections with OJ Frederic, I think is how it's pronounced.
OJ Frederic, yep, the cornerback from St. Thomas Aquinas.
The Pickett kid too, right?
Right, Booker Pickett and Elias Rudolph. Pickett and Rudolph are 2 of the best defensive line recruits in Miami's class. And then Frederic is the freshman that I've been telling you about for a couple of weeks. Lance Guidry, I asked him right on media day who he thinks among the freshman cornerbacks has a chance to play. And he said Frederic, that he's been doing everything he needs to do in offseason workouts against physical, older, bigger receivers in terms of being able to stay with them. Since camp started, I've had multiple people reach out to me and say, this kid is the truth. He is legitimate. He is going to contribute and he is going to play. So this week, Canes Connection announced those 3 signings. I think of the 3 of them, the one I'm most excited about right now, obviously, is Frederic, because I think there's an opportunity to play as a freshman at the cornerback position. Miami's cornerbacks, they had 2 of them, 2 of their starters, two very experienced guys leave the program last year. They're kind of young at the position overall. I'm not saying Frederic is going to start against the Gators. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is there's a good chance that as this season progresses, he's going to have an opportunity to be on the field to help Miami. And of course, in terms of NIL, it's great to see that Miami continues to sign all of these important recruits. You can sign all of these guys coming out of high school, but ultimately they all want to get paid, and they're going to leave you after 1 year unless they've got a deal. The fact that Miami's NIL collective, Canes Connection, continues to sign these guys. And yes, is it risky? These are freshmen. What have they done? Blah, 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 blah. It's clear OJ Frederic is a guy that you want to keep in this class because the cornerback position is super important. You got all these defensive linemen. You got all these playmakers up front in the front 7. That's great. But what about the guys in the back end? I think Miami's been lacking there for the last several years. They're starting to get better. And I like OJ Frederic.
What do you think about the thought of some people saying, well, why am I going to pay a freshman? Let me just wait another year or 2 and steal them from somebody else after they've developed them for a year or 2.
There's too much movement. There's too much player movement now. And I think all of these kids are looking for a reason to leave because there's people contacting them through back channels, right? There's schools that are reaching out, the poaching, the illegal tampering, all of that stuff is very, very prevalent in college football. Miami does it, Florida does it, Florida State does it. Everybody's trying to see how they can upgrade their roster. And the NCAA, in all honesty, isn't going to be able to get, basically punish people for what they're doing. They just don't have the reach that they need. So I think all this negotiating goes on during the season. People who sit here, like Mike Gundy comes out and tells the agents, right? Oklahoma State's coach says, stop asking us for more money. Well, there's a reason they're asking you for more money, Mike Gundy, because somebody else is offering them more to leave and to get in the portal and take off. So that's the crazy thing. I mean, we talk about the NFL. At least in the NFL, you have a contract, you sign it, you're basically under club control at that point. College football, not so much, brother. Like, they're going to catch you tampering in the NFL. Am I right or wrong? They probably just won't. They're not going to catch you doing it in college football. It's just a different system. So to me, I think until we get a little bit more modern, which, by the way, this year college football decided to finally put those walkie-talkies in the helmet, so at least the quarterback can talk to the coach. Mind you, the NFL's had that in place since, I think, 1994. So college football just caught up to the times 30 years later. in terms of
can't
allowing.
afford it, bro. They don't have a lot of money. Come on, give a break.
Right. They don't have a lot of money, sure. But my point is, if it took them 30 years to catch up to the NFL with helmet communication, I wonder how long they're going to catch up to actually tampering and having real contracts and everything set up. Hopefully, it's not 30 years.
Yeah, I think that because of the developments, they have the least amount of power they've ever had, pretty much.
Absolutely.
And they're almost at the point where they're not even needed anymore. Because eventually the two super conferences will probably just say, yeah, we don't need you guys anymore. We're on our own. And
yeah, I think that's where we're headed, which is why the FSU Clemson fight with the ACC is so interesting. I know there were some reports that came out yesterday about, them, Florida State and the ACC negotiating off the table. The bottom line is, until Florida State and Clemson can prove that the contract they signed with the ACC is null and void and that the grant of rights should be abolished, we're not going to end up in a super conference. Because right now, the Big Ten and the SEC have all the power. Why blow it up if you've got a good thing going, right? There's no incentive there to blow it up. The only thing that would blow it up is the grant of rights going up in smoke. So as we sit here and talk about money and NIL and recruiting, I just think, that pipe dream of a super league until one of these grants of rights, until one of these Supreme Courts says, we're gonna abolish it. It's just a bunch of hot air right now.
all right. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro, and make sure you visit our friends at the Big Cheese, 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue. You are going to love it. The baked ziti, the beef or the veggie lasagna is so good, man. The baked meat tortellini. The menu is second to none, and those garlic rolls are to die for. So visit our friends. The best. Visit our friends at the Big Cheese. Manny, have a great weekend, my brother. We will catch up on Tuesday.
All right, brother. Take care.
You got it. There you go. The Big Cheese, NIL and Recruiting Report.
You've been listening to the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. At the Big Cheese Miami, they continue to purchase the same high-quality ingredients that the most expensive Italian restaurants use. The difference is they serve large portions at a family price. Visit the Big Cheese at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue in Miami. Call 305-662-6855 or go to thebigcheesemiami.com. Go Canes!
All right. Thank you all out there, as always, keeping it locked. Remember, you can make a donation, Cash App, or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App, or Venmo. Cash Big O Show, and you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. Ocala Joe, thank you, sir, for that Bitcoin donation. Very kind. He says, a little Bitcoin for your daughter's piggy bank. Thank you. There we go. Build up that daughter's piggy bank. Thank you, my friend. Very nice of you. Very nice. Let's see. What else do we have going on? Nothing new there. What's the market doing right now? The market is pumping. It's up 453 points. The Dow up 453. The S&P is up 58.5 points. And the NASDAQ is barely down about a half a point. That's about it. So you got that going on. Okay. All right. Oh, Big Cheese is a good Nirvana song. I was at Sammy Sucks game against the Oilers. Yeah, that was the chant started with the Sammy Sucks. I was there too. How about Zay Flowers fumbling in the end zone, costing the Ravens? Yeah, but it doesn't have he does. He is local, but not local tie like playing for one of our teams. So it's kind of like a painful thing. It's not a painful thing when it's another team. You know what I'm saying? Because generally, The people that are watching this channel usually love the Heat, the Dolphins, the Marlins, the Panthers, the Canes, all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that is the deal there. So that's why. Big news, Big O. Finally, 5 Secret Service agents put on leave and reassigned, not fired for the Trump assassination attempt. They should only fire the big cheese. That was the woman that was in charge. Fire her ass. Okay? Fire her ass. Put her to protect a radio antenna in North Dakota. Okay? That's what you do. Somebody has to get fired. You know, I don't know. That's what I would have done. That's for sure. You can't F up like that, bro. That's unacceptable. You know what I mean? So a leave or a suspension is not enough. Somebody needs to lose their job. So I think it was the woman that was in charge. I think it was a woman. And I don't care if it's a woman or a man. Fire her ass. Period. End of story. That's all. Somebody's got to pay the price, dude. That can't happen to any candidate here at all, especially if you have the Secret Service working. There's no reason for it to happen. And it still goes on, right? The Kennedys, Reagan, now Trump. I mean, it's not like it's ever going to stop. It's Lincoln, whatever. It's happened from the beginning of time. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's something that you have to protect yourself no matter what. And you can't fail. There is no failing in that. And when you fail, you have to pay the price. You have to pay the price. So, did Flores drop the case? No, he has not dropped the case. That's why he couldn't completely deny it, because then he would open himself up for even more criticism from other people. And then it would really look bad. And then he couldn't necessarily apologize and go all the way through because he's got a lawsuit, and this hurts his lawsuit. Because he's using that weak-ass excuse about race. And sure, race has to do with other things, but not in your situation. So it's an organization that hires 3 black personnel people. They draft 5th overall their quarterback, who's also a minority, and they hire a minority quarterback. I mean, a head coach. Something tells me, Donna Ponte was part of this organization as a woman. I don't know. Some tells me that this organization doesn't have a racist bone in its body. Something tells me that Stephen Ross hires just people that are qualified. He doesn't give a shit if they're male or female or white or black or young or old or whatever, because that's what you see in that organization all over the place, right? So I don't know what Flo's talking about, because I know that organization, man, let me tell you something. Do you think the 3 minority front office guys, okay, all right, the 3 minority front office guys wanted to fire the head coach that's a minority? Do you know how magical that would have been for minorities? That 3 minority personnel guys, a minority head coach, and a minority quarterback go on to win a Super Bowl. Now, Mike McDaniel, I think, has, I think he has a little minority in him too, right? I think supposedly he's got mix in his family somewhere. So I guess there's a small portion of that in him. But, all kidding aside, you think those guys really want? No, they didn't. This killed those guys. This hurt those guys that they had to do that. But what are you going to do when, you hired a backstabber? So the flow situation is very interesting. We have lots of things that happen in this world that are race related, and it's sad and it happens. But in his case, it had nothing to do with race. It had everything to do with incompetence. And you're an asshole. Incompetence, and you're an asshole. Anyway, Powell declared time for rate cuts. You heard it first on the Big O radio show. Did he say that? Did he say something like that? Let me see what the what we got here. Let me see. Powell's already addressing the folks, huh? Interesting. Isn't that I thought that was like normally later, so I guess I was wrong on that one, but that would be nice if he starts talking about, I don't know if he's, usually they don't in these kind of meetings, because it's not really that they would talk about that they're going to cut. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll dance around it and maybe indirectly talk about that it could be coming. You know what I mean? But it's going to happen in September. There's no doubt in my mind that they're going to end up cutting rates. They will cut in September. They have to. They have no choice, especially with the whole situation with the jobs that they had to cut down. I don't see anything here right now. By the way, I'm not seeing anything on the Feds. I don't think he's talked yet. So you're giving me something. Let's see. We did a one-time rescue of the system in March 2020. Inflation was all due to supply chain. We thought we were justified by using the word transitory. By October 21, we realized we're completely wrong. Kudos on us. We raised rates and held them there for 2 years. Labor market is now cooled. We're in a great place to now focus on unemployment. Okay. All right. I don't know. I mean, it's going to come. Sony to launch its own Ethereum L2 called Sonium. Telling you, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and now Solana, you should have plenty of. That's where you need to be going. Okay. But let's see. Yeah, no, I know the NASDAQ is up. Let me see. I'm sorry, folks. Now I've got to send a text to somebody. Okay. All right. And by the way, Bitcoin is at 61,385 right now. Okay. For those of you that might be wondering if this is affecting the bottom line and the price, but it should be going up shortly. We'll see. I'm sorry, 61,614. It is 61,785. Okay. All right. So we're really moving right now a little bit here. Not bad. Okay. I like that. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Why don't we? And, of course, the great Alan Blanco, custom printing and embroidery. Tonight, Dolphins and Bucks. Bucks favored by 3. The over and under is 37.5. Money line, Dolphins plus 140. The Bucks minus 166. Are you really betting this? This is crazy. Colts defeat the Bengals 27-14. Richardson yesterday, 8 of 14, 86 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Bears over the Chefs, 34-21. Tonight, Jags and Falcons at 7 o'clock. Jags favored by 7, over and under is 35.5. 10 o'clock, Niners and Raiders. Niners favored by 7, over and under is 32.5. Saturday, Inter Miami, a huge game. They are hosting Cincinnati at Chase Stadium. And if you want to lay half a goal, Inter Miami minus 105. If you want plus half a goal for Cincinnati, minus 130. Inter is minus 105 on the money line. Cincy is plus 225 on the money line. They walloped Miami last time. 5-1, 6-1, I think it was maybe 6-1. It's a really bad game. The draw is plus 280. Saturday, FSU taking on Georgia Tech. They're in Ireland, I believe. And the line was 11.5. Now it's down to 10.5. FSU favored by 10.5. Over and under is 55.5. And the Chefs have made Creed Humphrey their center, the highest paid center in the NFL, a 4-year deal worth $72 million. $50 million of that 72 is guaranteed. All right. J-Town said it's time for policy change, which is indication of a cut. Let's hope so, man. Let's hope so. If that if he's saying that, that'll definitely juice the markets a little bit. It'll definitely juice the markets. No doubt about that. If that's the case. And we will keep up with it, and we'll tell you if it is going up, at least from where it was a couple of hours ago, because now we're approaching 62,000. So it's just good to see that it is bouncing back. So there you go. We have here. Okay. What else? Sean, on this show every once in a while we tell you, I told you so, and I told you so, and I told you so, and I told you so. And so did you see, by the way, Sean, the latest thing that happened to our boy Pat McAfee on ESPN?
No, I did not.
So apparently he had that ugly comment about Caitlin Clark about a month ago or whatever. So apparently this isn't true. God and the universe told me to stop talking about Caitlin Clark. So it's that the subject has been taken off the show. An Indiana-based host. Now, it didn't really help that he called her a white bee. He didn't mean it in a negative way. He kind of meant it in I don't know how you can call it a term of endearment, but he was trying to make it a term of endearment. He was trying to make the point of, it's not this rookie class. It's this white, and then obviously all hell broke loose and all that. So they basically have told him now that he can't talk about Caitlin Clark. I mean, look, dude, he's making bank, so God bless him. He's terrific, But I knew him going there, he would have to deal with all the crap, bro. And I guess he wasn't going to ever make this kind of money where he was at FanDuel, but shit, if he was getting the guests and generating the views, eventually he would have gotten some pretty good salary and nobody in your way, and take it from me as a guy that works with nobody in my way. It's really, really liberating that I don't have to answer to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm going to use a little more common sense than Pat. I'm not going to call any woman whatever color she is and then followed by the word bitch. That just, there's no coming back from that. There's just like that can't be used in a positive way in any way, shape, or he's got to know better than that. But he is that kind of host. And that's why you needed a place like FanDuel, a place that was going to allow you to be a little bit more of a rebel. You know what I mean? I would have never left FanDuel. That would have been, if I'm him, that would have been the perfect marriage. Looks like they were fine. He had a big staff and everything. Everybody's making money. It's like what you saw what Charles Barkley did by staying at TNT. Did you hear about that, Sean? For those of you that may not know, this kind of, and when you're in Pat McAfee's place or Dan Lebitard or, in this case, Charles Barkley, Barkley stayed at TNT, right? And so he was on Dan Lebitard, by the way. And he said the most important thing to him on deciding to stay at TNT was the people he works with. Would they be able to keep their jobs? The Hall of Famer says that's the primary reason he chose not to leave his current position. Barkley was then asked how much money he could have made from the rival network, and he said he could have made a minimum of $100 million less by remaining at TNT. A minimum of $100 million. It was a great feeling. I want to thank all of those networks for reaching out to me. It was really humbling and cool, to be honest with you. Even though they were throwing crazy numbers, I was like, damn. As long as I got my people safe at TNT, man, I feel really good. Like I say, they're going to pay me to go and talk about nothing. So I can't look a gift horse in the mouth. I probably would have had to do an honest day's work if I went to one of those other networks. And by the way, Barkley could not be Barkley at ESPN. So, but he stayed because he knew that the rest of the TNT people, cameramen, editors, producers, writers, all that, they would all lose jobs because those guys generate a shit ton of revenue. That's how they pay for those people. And if that revenue's gone, those people are gone. So he didn't take what could have been the better job or the sexier job because he gets to talk about basketball since TNT is losing the rights to basketball. You know what I'm saying? So that it's kind of interesting and very, very cool on Charles Barkley's part that he did something selfless like that. And in, McAfee's case or in Dan Lebitard's case, you have to think about those things because there's a lot of people now depending on you. Even Lebby, who's, up there like I am with years, you start wondering, when do you want to give up? And when you do give up, it's going to hurt a lot of people. Lebby retires and a lot of people lose their jobs and lose money and lose revenue. That's tough, dude. That's tough, So smart by Mike Ryan. It looks like he's branching out, doing other things, planning, and, because you can't ride the same thing forever, and so that when you're in that position like Barkley or like Lebitard or like McAfee, man, there's a lot of responsibility. The moves you can make affect so many people in their lives. It's a tough position to be in. Really tough position to be in. Gotta say. But I'm not surprised that McAfee is going through that BS with ESPN. Big O, I'm in Vancouver getting ready to start a cruise vacation with my folks. Nice, Dan. Enjoy, my friend. That's very cool. I hear Vancouver is beautiful. Pat in Asheville. I was at an employee relations training for the state in the 90s. Talked about how to talk to coworkers. District manager actually asked, that means we can't call them bitches? Yeah. That's what are you gonna do, right? Some people. Lenny says, Big O, what gets to me is that Flores lied about his relationship between him and Tua on the I Am Athlete podcast when Omar was there. He said, Bro, that I Am Athlete interview was just softballs. Okay? It was just softballs. That's all. They didn't challenge the guy. But problem with those interviews sometimes is you can't challenge because then it'll hurt you with other guests or other guests tied to that agent or whatever. You know what I mean? But that was a softball interview. And I told Omar that. Go back and listen to that. Omar was on with us weekly at that time. And I told him that you guys were playing patty cakes with him. You didn't challenge him. But whatever. It is what it is. Let's start with a little music history. Why don't we? Richard Neville. We start with musicians born on this date in 1979. Julian Casablancas, guitar, singer, songwriter for The Strokes, born on this date in 1978. Let's see. Sean Ryder, lead singer of the Happy Mondays and Black Grape, born in 1962. Dean DeLeo, guitars for the Stone Temple Pilots, born in 1961. Jimmy Jameson, singer for Survivor. The original singer for Survivor. And we lost him in 2014. By the way, he also co-wrote the theme song for Baywatch. Jimmy Jameson passed away at the age of 63, August 31st, 2014, in Memphis, Tennessee, from a heart attack. And the Survivor is a truly amazing story because they hit it big with their original singer. Then he had some health issues, and I think it was health issues, and he had to drop out. Then the second singer replaced him, who sounds like the first singer, and they went on to have all kinds of hits after that. Like, Survivor is the band that you're going to go, shit, that's their song? That one too? And that one too? And that one too? And you're like, well, wait a minute, dude. They had like 6 or 8 hits here. What, and they did it with 2 different singers, which is pretty freaking amazing. And most people don't even know that Survivor has 2 different singers because most people don't even follow. They just think Eye of the Tiger, and pretty much that's it. Rick Springfield, born on this date in 1949. Let's see. Keith Moon, rest in peace, was born on this date in 1946, drummer for The Who. We lost him September 7th of 1978 after taking 32 clomethazoil pills. I don't know. Clomthiazoil pill tablets, whatever. Let's see what else. And that is it for musicians born on this date. Let's go with birthdays today. Kobe Bryant, born on this date in 1978. We lost him in 2020. Little Yachty was not on that other list. He is 27. River Phoenix, rest in peace, was born on this date in 1970. We lost him in 1993. Very talented young man. What a shame. Seth Curry, 34 years old. Gretchen Whitmer, politician, is 53. Just saw her last night. Let's see. Jeremy Lin, 36 today. PJ Washington, basketball player, 26. Barbara Eden, We all dream of Jeannie. She is 93. Amazing. Gene Kelly, born in this state in 1912, lost him in 96. And that is it for famous people celebrating birthdays. Sean, do you have any wrestlers celebrating birthdays today?
We have one OVW and Tough Enough contestant Ryan Howe turns 37. Those are your birthdays for August 23rd.
There you go. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. And speaking of the Gretchen Whitmore, since I saw her yesterday on the DNC, the DNC is perfect to have the volume down, right? And then just wait for a performer to come on, because they did good with that, right? They had Pink last night, John Legend the night before, Stevie Wonder. Although they were rumored to have Beyonce, right? TMZ said, oh, Beyonce is going to perform. And so the poor Beehive. I felt bad for the Beehive. You don't work up the Beehive like that. You don't do that to the Beehive, bro. Telling you. I was looking forward to it. I was hoping she was going to perform. I would have kept the volume down. All right, let's talk about music history today on August 23rd. In 1967, on this date, while celebrating his birthday, Keith Moon drove his Lincoln Continental limousine into a Holiday Inn swimming pool as he drunkenly tried to get away from police who came to break up the party. The rocker released the handbrake of the car and watched it roll right into the pool. Safe to say Keith Moon was a little bit of a party animal. In 1969, Johnny Cash started a 4-week run at the #1 spot on the album charts with Johnny Cash at San Quentin, which featured the show he gave inmates at San Quentin State Prison. It was the follow-up to his live album at Folsom Prison. In 1970, a fan secretly taped Velvet Underground show at Max's Kansas City in New York. The gig turned out to be Lou Reed's last with the band and later was released as a live set. In 1969, the Rolling Stones started a 4-week run at #1 on the singles charts with Honky Tonk Woman, their 5th song to top the charts in America. In 2002, Foo Fighters, Prodigy, Offspring, Muse, Jane's Addiction, The Stokes, Sum 41, Incubus, The White Stripes, and many others performed at the Reading and Leeds Festival in England. Pretty good concert. Pretty damn good concert. And by the way, kudos to Tom Hamilton and Aerosmith, because Aerosmith obviously had to retire from touring. Steven Tyler ruined his larynx on a fall, and he wasn't able to recover. So the decision was made that the team would include that the band and dedicated management. We don't know what the future holds, but it won't include touring. He then was asked if Aerosmith would consider touring with a new vocalist. He quickly shot it down. There's been no talk at all going on the road with another singer. I can't imagine it, he said. I'm sure all of us have music in our future and will manifest itself in ways we haven't planned yet. I've been playing in a band with some good friends. We have a bunch of really good songs, and we hope to be putting them out soon, hopefully doing some gigs. So, maybe the Joe Perry Project and other things like that come back. But I'm glad they're doing that, because the replacement singer thing, Journey's the one that can pull it off. I know Foreigner did it to a certain extent, but really Journey's the only one. Outside of that, and still they have no real hits with Arnell, and so that's not really, that's something that happens early in your career, and then you want to continue, and you bring on a new singer. You lost Bon Scott, you get Brian Johnson. You move on from Paul Di'Anno, you go to Bruce Dickinson. Things like that. Okay, I get it. But at this juncture of your life, first of all, nobody sounds like Steven Tyler. And nobody's going to be Steven Tyler on stage. And without Steven Tyler, you just don't have Aerosmith. You really cannot do Aerosmith without Steven Tyler. You've gotten away at times over the years without certain members, even Joe Perry. Okay. I think I didn't. Did I see Joe Perry? I wonder if I saw Joe Perry at the baseball stadium. Now I'm trying to remember. Because that was the Rocks tour. Wonder if yeah, he was there. He was there. But there's been other ones where, other moments where they've done it without certain members, including Joe. You just can't get away without Steven Tyler. So kudos to Tom. It would be stupid to do it without him. Imagine Dragons, by the way, is losing somebody. They're losing a drummer. Daniel Platzman is leaving the band Imagine Dragons. He says, after an incredible journey over a decade, I will be departing the amazing band that is Imagine Dragons. He said, before directly addressing the fans for their support over the years, I wanted to share my deepest gratitude to you, the fans, for your unwavering and sharing in the joy of music with me. Connecting with all of you has truly been the highlight of my chapter. I'm excited to be able to share more soon about the projects I've been hard at work at over the past few months and centered on my biggest passion, film scoring and composing. He continued, I promise you'll be the first to know. Stay tuned. So moving on, you got to have serious passion for composing music for films and stuff like that to leave a successful band like Imagine Dragons. Wow. Damn. That's, maybe he's not one of the main songwriters. I don't know exactly on the credits. So that might be something. And so he wants something where it's more of his own input and, part of him. I don't know. But they'll have a new drummer. That's for sure. Let's see. That district manager was also a Baptist preacher. Now that's even better, Pat. That's even better. Big O, a little early music trivia. You might know this one. CBGB, the name for the iconic bar that was located in the Bowery neighborhood in New York City. The letters stand for, oh, God, yes. I've heard of that. I'm drawing a blank now, but I've heard what they stand for. I'm just like drawing a blank now, but I have heard that before. I Am Athlete interview felt the other way around. Flores had more control. Yeah, dude, it was a softball interview. Weak. They didn't challenge him at all. Fins Up is listening in Chicago. Thank you, sir. Did you see Keanu Reeves signed with the Windsor Spitfires? Their jersey looks sick. What are the Windsor Spitfires? What's he doing? Hockey? It sounds very hockey-ish. But I know he's also in a band, so I don't know. There's you could go look up Keanu Reeves playing The Cure, and it'll come up. Okay? Check out his band. Very, very true. No Steven Tyler, not going to work. No, it just can't. It can't. What's up, John? Dave says, hope all is well. I took my daughter to Joe Bonamassa concert on Wednesday night. What a great show. We'll definitely see him again. Yeah, I mean, Joe Bonamassa is freaking amazing, dude. He's so good. Joe Perry also plays with Johnny Depp. Oh, yeah, that's right. The LA Vampires. I would go. I have the CD of the LA Vampires. I would go see those guys. I would definitely go see those guys with Alice Cooper and all those. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. I would go see the LA Vampires if I could. Yeah. Imagine Dragons will be playing. Yes. Yes. I want to go. I want to go see Imagine Dragons. I want to drag my wife over there and go see it. Liam Eichenberg better be playing tonight. I don't know. I don't know if they'll play him tonight. Maybe. Although, no. Well, you know what? Yeah, no, they might play him. They might play him tonight because Aaron will be back for the start. So the Jags game, Aaron Brewer will start. And Eichenberg will go back to guard. So you know what? I'm a little torn. No, maybe they just say, let's work on all the other guys. And Liam, let's get you back to guard and get it ready for the opener. Because Aaron will be ready to play center. Or then again, I could play both sides of this shit, man. Get some more work at center. You need as much as possible just in case something happens. Yeah. I can see both sides of it, you know? Anyway, Joseph says, I'm late, but I'm here, Big O. Thank you, sir. Doesn't matter when you get here. Even if you get here at 4 p.m. or 7 o'clock at night, whenever you watch the show or download it or listen to it, we love you for it, you know? And don't think that anything that happens today pretty much is solving much. Almost everything is pretty much done, including Mike White. He's your number 2. I think what they were doing in the preseason, they already know that Mike White is number 2. So let's see where this kid, Skylar, is after, 2 years and now a third year in the system. To me, that's what went on. And they wanted to find out where Skylar is. And they found out that he really hasn't made that much progress. And White is your number 2 guy. Country Bluegrass Blues CBGB. Thank you. I appreciate that. CBGB, which is a total contrast to the name because 99% of the bookings were punk bands. Yeah. That's actually true. There were a lot of, well, it's give me 15 seconds there, Sean, please.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
All right. My bad. I'm sorry. I had to clear my throat. What's it called? Yeah, they were so key to a genre of music. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that they took the initiative that they took to expose Blondie and the Ramones and the Talking Heads and many others, to the world. And CBGB is one of the most important bars in the history of music, period, because of what it did to support a genre of music that was kind of growing. You know what I mean? And certain bands started as punk and then went more to pop, like Blondie. They have punk origins, but they became pop icons. Talking Heads have punk origins, but became pop icons. You know what I mean? Ramones were punk rock icons. But it's interesting. Yeah, it's a good point. John Padilla, thank you for the love on the super chat. Supporting my favorite show. Listen 5 days a week minimum. Thank you, man. That is incredible. John, thank you. Oh, man. That is very kind of you. I appreciate that. By the way, Bitcoin. Yes, sir. What do you got there, Sean?
I don't know if you saw this or not, but apparently there's going to be an experiment going on tonight for the Dolphins.
Oh, fill me in.
Dolphins assistant head coach, tight end coach John Embry. He will handle head coaching duties in the second half of tonight's preseason game. The Dolphins are using this as practice run should Mike McDaniel ever have to miss a game.
Okay. All right. I like that. That's fine. That makes all the sense in the world. Unlike, you know where I'm going? Cam Cameron. And for those of you that don't know what the hell I'm about to talk about, Cam Cameron was here only for 1 year. And things didn't go very well for him. In fact, it went downright horrible. It was 1-15. Okay. That's how we ended up with Ronnie Brown. Right? Was it Ronnie Brown or Jake Long? No, Jake Long. Might have been Jake Long, actually. Anyway, so 1-15. This man got hired for the first time ever to be a head coach. First time ever. So in the, I believe it was the third or fourth preseason game, he allows one of his assistant coaches. I'm now brain farting. Please help me out. The defensive coordinator, he was also in Green Bay and many other places. God, I'm forgetting him now, his name. But anyway, he allowed him to be the head coach. This guy had already been a head coach. I believe it was in Houston where he was a head coach and fired. So he already had more head coaching experience than Cam Cameron did. Cam Cameron has yet to coach one regular season game as a head coach. And he gives one of the preseason games to his defensive coordinator, who's already an experienced head coach. Very good defensive coordinator. I'm just blanking right now. Somebody help me out, dude, on the defensive coordinator. Jesus Christ. I can see his face, balding here. He's got black hair. A very nice man, too, on top of all of that. Jesus, I'm brain farting with his name. So we all ripped. We were like, Cam, you have no experience as a head coach. That guy you put there doesn't need it. He's already done it. Weirdest thing. Now here, this is different. John Embry's never been a head coach. This gives him an opportunity. Mike McDaniel's been a head coach for 2 years already. He's not going to gain anything from the third preseason game. But for Embry, God forbid something happens to Mike and he has to miss a day, a game or whatever, Embry will get a little experience here, and he's never done it before. So that's pretty cool for Embry. Smart move by Mike. Stupid move by Cam Cameron back in the day. Dom Capers. Thank you, Mace. You're a stud. Thank you. Dom Capers. Very nice man. Very decent man. Very good man. I enjoyed covering him and talking to him. He was always respectful. He answered questions. He never went out of his way to be a dick. You know, Dom Capers was a nice man. I like him. Hell of a defensive. You didn't want him as a head coach, but definitely an excellent defensive coordinator. Okay, and he had already head coaching experience. Cam Cameron had none. He was in his first year. He was in his first preseason, and he's handing. Well, you know. I wanted to give Dom Capers an opportunity just in case I had to miss. Dom Capers doesn't need any experience, you idiot. He has more than you do, moron. You need to coach. And certainly you needed it because you went 1-15. The guy that went 1-15 was passing off the torch. Think about that one. Okay? Johnny Depp lived on the next block from me when I was a kid. He was a pothead wannabe rocker. They kicked him out of Miramar High School. Well, now he's a pothead. He's got terrible teeth, and he is a rocker and an actor. And he has girlfriends that will shit on his bed. Seriously, what is wrong with that woman? She left you a turd. Where did Amber Beard think that, like, let me take a dump on his bed? That'll teach him. Weirdo. PNW Bull, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. Very nice of you. Very nice. The Dom Capers are coming in. I guess you guys are trailing a little bit on the show. That is awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. Love it. Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. Appreciate all of you out there as always. What else? Where's Bitcoin at right now? We are at 61,430. So crossing over the 61 mark. All right. We thank David Furones. We thank Manny Navarro. As always, we thank the great Sean Stanley. We thank all of you that tuned in, that sent in a super chat, that donated to the show, Cash App or Venmo. Don't forget, you can also make a donation, Cash App or Venmo, and a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, and you can visit our merchandise shop. Now that, my friends, is a great way to support us. If you can't visit Cutter's Edge Pro or Caneswear or Acura Pembroke Pines or Toyota of Hollywood or a bunch of our great sponsors, please visit our merchandise shop. We got shirts and hats there, all kinds of shirts and hats to support our show, and we appreciate it. We appreciate the great people at 3A Graphics and Alan Blanco doing great work for us. We will see you all on Monday morning at 10 a.m. No training camp for me. So we're back on to the normal schedule, 10 a.m. every day except Thursdays when we're at Hialeah and all that good stuff. So we're back to normal, okay? Enjoy the Dolphin game tonight. Enjoy the Inter Miami game on Saturday. And we'll be back here to talk about it on Monday. Any news, any breaking stuff, we'll pass that on too. We'll see you all on Monday. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show.